Everyone, we are super excited to be joining you today. This is Lisa Swift-Young and Kia Jarmon, the co-founders of Give Back Conversations. This is our closing ceremony for the Give Black, Give Back for August of 2023. So first of all, we want to thank everyone for joining and the Community Foundation and all the people there for supporting this initiative. If you're new to us, welcome. There's a lot of stuff that you can catch up on, so go back and make sure you like and subscribe and to this particular channel so that you'll get all the different pieces, all the back pieces. So when you hear something in a few minutes that you really want to know about, then go back and check those out. We really appreciate that from that standpoint. So the Give Black, Give Back, if you are new, welcome. We are super excited to see you. And we want to just share with you, if you're into our three initiatives around Give Black, Give Back are three: to amplify the voices of Black philanthropists, to advocate for Black-led nonprofits, and to address the wealth gap for nonprofits and other people of color. So today's is really a great opportunity for us to close out some stuff and then start some new things. So we have look forward to some really great announcements and some really great things. But today we're going to kind of kick things off with sort of a conversation about what we've been doing up to this point. Again, like I said, either like, subscribe, share, put comments in there. If you want to know more about what we're doing here, blackgivingback.com is where you go. You will find out all the different things that are going on. If you don't have YouTube or social media, then you can go to blackgivingback.com. You can find out more about it, how to contribute, how to share your story, all those different things. So we're going to tell you about some things and kind of recap the month of August, which is Black Philanthropy Month. Started in 2011 by Dr. Copeland, and others who looked at this initiative around Black giving, the fact that as African people from the diaspora, we have been giving for centuries. We brought that practice over when we came to this country as well, and we have continued to do it across the world. So August is set aside as the perfect month because of all the significance of August for us to sort of take a pause and look at Black Philanthropy Month. So Key and I have been very busy, as well as the people on our advisory board, for the past month. And this is really just to kind of show you what kind of happens behind the scenes. So again, get ready to take some notes, go to blackgivingback.com and get more information. So Kia, how do we kind of start off? Do you remember?
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the theme. So the theme of International Black Philanthropy Month, right? Because we want to make sure that we are mindful of all of the places in which Black people reside and take up this philanthropic space. And so this month's theme is Black Love in Action. And so we have spent a good amount of time thinking about what love in action looks like and how we support that. And so, of course, I want to ask Lisa what that means for her. But for me, love in action, and in particular, Black love in action, because that's what we're talking about really is Black Philanthropy Month, really is about how we take care of ourselves, how we love our people, how we are so communal and so deeply spiritual in the walks that we have with each other. How it comes up, if you see somebody on the street, you never met them before, there is an instant energy and connection when you are from the same place. Even if you're from a totally different part of the country, you never met them before, that really is what love in action looks like, is the ability for us to take up space together, love each other, smile at each other when we see each other passing by, but also because it's all about philanthropy, also asking the hard questions about what it requires and what it takes for us to not just live in charity, which Lisa and I talk about often, which is keeping ourselves in the conditions that we're in, but really moving towards philanthropy, which is generosity and benevolence and love of your people, and how we move out of those conditions. And so that looks like we want you to feed that college student on campus when they come over to your house on Sunday. We want that to happen because I think this is the first week of college being back in. That's why that's on my mind. We want that to happen. And also, I want you to help young people who are in college or who are aspiring for greater things after high school to maybe think about their finances, so that they can then also feed themselves for a lifetime and the next generation and so forth and so on. So it's not just about loving each other today. It's about the love we carry from those who come before us, and it's about how we transition that love to everyone else that we come into contact with. So, and then I'll get into what we did this month, but I just
did,
thought
right,
it's really important for us to talk about that. So, Lisa, how do you define love in action, particularly as it relates to philanthropy?
So, thank you for sort of reeling me back on that one and looking at love in action. So, I mean, for those of you who don't know, and I'm sure everybody's probably looked it up at this point, but in case you haven't, philanthropy literally means love of humanity. So when you translate that, break down the word from that standpoint, it really is, that's what it really means. And I think over time it has been subverted to being something else. And so I think this is a great opportunity to pause. So what is love in action? What does love of humanity actually look like? And especially in the Black community, right? So in the diaspora, what does it look like? And it looks like HBCUs, right? It looks like Meharry Medical College. It looks like TSU here as well, Fisk, American Baptist College. It looks like all the other HBCs that exist. And that's love in action. Someone taking their, in this particular case, their treasure and making that something that is sustained for generations. Hundreds of people have been affected by those institutions, and we have birthed out many scholars and medical people and business people through those. And that's love in action. When you actually put what you're doing into action, as Kia mentioned before, we talk about charity being helping someone in their situation, philanthropy being helping someone out of that situation. Those HBCUs and other organizations like that are really doing exactly that. These are first generation students, right? That's what action looks like. So when you're giving and you say you have a love of humanity, then how is that moving that person to the next level? Like, are we doing it? It's important to do food, clothing, and shelter, but how are we doing it where we love and action, where we're showing that we have action with us, mentoring someone, taking your time to spend with someone is love and action, and giving them that knowledge, as Kia mentioned before, mentoring maybe a college student who's just getting started, using your talents. We talk about the 5 T's and going through kind of those. So we talk about your talents. How do you use your talents to give back to your community, the Black community specifically, around helping us to make those opportunities? And then your testimony. We had a great time, and I won't steal the thunder, but if you go back and take a look at our August 17th sort of Give Black, Give Back conversation on set, when we kind of did some dedications and some other things, Turner Nash did a great job doing a testimony of what it looks like to him in particular around Black philanthropy, the action that it takes to do that. So, and the talent that he's used to be able to give back to the community, and his testimony was outstanding. I think that's something that you should take the time right now to go, well, after this is over, Give Black, Give Back, blackgivingback.com to be able to check that out. But those are the types of things when you're using your time, talent, treasures, tooth, and your trust, and your and your treasure, I think you can really take a look at that. So there's, if you've been following us on Instagram, if you haven't, you should. And there's a 31 days, 31 ways we've been giving back the entire month. But that's kind of helps you that's love in action. So this is not just something you would say as far as philanthropy, but making it action. I think you'll find that's where the African diaspora has always been. We've always given in those ways. And so for me, love and action is the 5 T's. Is being able to do it one of those ways or all of those ways, and really making things come to life for someone and making a difference in someone's life. So for me, that is love in action.
Yes, yes. So as you mentioned, we kicked off the month really talking about this topic around love and action. So at the top of the month, if you go back and watch our Give Black, Give Back conversations, we were really bringing in the month. And of course, we're now closing out the month. As Lisa just mentioned, we had those 31 days, 31 ways of action in which you can do very small things. And in particular, we're asking you not just to do them by yourself, but to do them with your children, your grandchildren, your nieces, your nephews, those young people in your life, in your whole family. Because one of the things that I'm going to pivot to our August 17th date, which was our reception. But one of the things that Dr. Turner Nash mentioned was about securing 100 years of legacy for his children. And so let me tell you a little bit about that reception. So the reception was at the brand new Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee building. They have moved, and so we were one of the first groups who were able to come in and have a reception. We had a wonderful conversation. It was a Give Black, Give Back conversation hosted by a team member at the Community Foundation, Keith King, and the wonderful panelists were Gail Williams, who many of you all may be familiar with. It was also Dr. Turner Nash and his wife, Philonise Nash. I also was going to say Dr. Philonise Nash. She does have a JD, so we'll give her her due title as well. And it was a really robust, wonderful conversation that they had around philanthropy for themselves. And what I really loved, and at least I'd love to hear from you, kind of one of the highlights. The highlight in the conversation, there were a couple. One, you just mentioned when Dr. Turner Nash was talking about what philanthropy meant, and what he said it meant to him was justice and showing up in those spaces. And you all know me as a disruptor. So as a little disruptor, I appreciated his take on that. And I appreciated that what he was talking about, walking into those spaces, not always being the most favorable person, or not always being honored and loved by all, but really coming in and taking up space so that other people had access to those spaces. I really love that. It was a great highlight for me. The second highlight for me was we were done really with the conversation, and Gail Williams pulled everyone back, in, and really was remembering and honoring her husband, David Williams, who was a beloved member of our community, and really seeing her see how much Philonise and Turner reminded her of her and her husband was really beautiful to me, because that's also what love in action looks like. It looks like acknowledging those who are coming behind you, those who are stepping in your footsteps and going forward. It is about our older generation being able to see others in the community and pass the baton. And it was a really, it's one of those things you just can't plan. And I really like that. Like, it was very impromptu. It was really beautiful. But that honoring of each other and honoring of the legacy that Gail and David Williams have had and continue to have as a family legacy, and also the beautiful legacy of the Nashes, that was really great on display that evening. So those were two highlights. There were many more, but those were two. Lisa, what about you? What did you love about that reception and the conversation that was happening?
I think one of the things in particular, when we started this, there was a couple different things for me as well. I would go back to when we initially had a conversation back in August of 2019. We had maybe about 12 to 15, maybe 20 people from there. There were more than 100 people there. And this one 4 years later, even the pandemic, that didn't stop the movement from that standpoint. So I think sometimes, we take for granted, or I would say I took for granted some of, like, we haven't moved maybe where we wanted to be, but for over 100 people to really be engaged a few years later after having a conversation, it's not the impact that maybe I thought, but it was fivefold, right? So in that particular case, I think that was one thing, just the sheer number of people who asked questions afterwards, who want to get involved. Secondly, I would have to call out as well that, Philonise and Turner were both there. I feel like David was also there with Gail as well. And so, Miss Gail. And so, and I think, to me, love in action is exactly that. When families are really starting to look at how they want to leave 100-year legacy, to your point, how family and how, Miss Gail was able to articulate, how funding has been able to help someone else. So her husband and her are still giving in that way. And that's what we talk about. We talk about philanthropy, right? That legacy beyond, right, what we can see right in front of us. But she's been allowed to see what their gift has done for someone else who moved on, because of those funding. So I think, when she was able to share that information, and and Turner and Philonise were able to do the same, I think when we talk about families, like we talk about building strong families, we talk about love, we talk about Black love and action, and those were two stark examples. I had many conversations with other couples there who were moved by that, to move their families toward that same aspirational thing. And I think in our community, I think the thought process sometimes is everything's urgent and important, and everything is urgent and important. However, there are things that we need to think about for legacy. And I think I know I felt that's what we had there. We also had a very spiritual moment, I think, when you spoke, and you call on the ancestors, and you were able to sort of move that room to a space where people really were able to understand that this is our birthright. Like, this is who we are. This is who we've always been. We just didn't know that we were there. And I think people in the room felt that. And I think that's where those are the three sort of highlight areas. Again, I encourage everyone to go back and look at it,
Yeah.
because I think you will get the same, and hopefully you will see the opportunity to do that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, one last highlight, because we talk so much about legacy and legacy being something you live as well as you leave. And of course, as many rooms as I can, I bring Teddy, which Teddy is the 9-year-old of mine, who is my junior assistant, and also who is a very young philanthropist and enjoys being in those spaces, though sometimes he may not seem like it, but he enjoys that. And it's important to me. We were talking in a previous video. So go back and watch. There's a video of Lisa and I believe it came out in June, around Juneteenth time. There's a video, which I think is probably one of our most powerful videos. We've done a lot of these conversations, but Lisa and I are sitting talking with each other about the origin of this work, and origin of our lives and our stories. And I think so much about why it's important that Teddy's in those rooms. And I think I shared in that video, I believe, that this year we were awarded the Mary Catherine Strobel Award, which is an amazing highlight for us as a collective. It's a really important highlight for me too, because I've been nominated before as a young person, as a youth, so many years ago, and then seeing the youth come up on that stage and being able to just tell them to keep pushing, like, was such a full circle emotional moment for me. And I remember at the beginning of the Strobel event, where Mary Catherine Strobel's children took the stage and were reflecting on their mother, and really talking about how she always was a giver. She was always supporting her community. And when I think about the legacy I want to live and to leave for Teddy, the 9-year-old, it is that I want him to remember his mother that way, as someone who always gave. And that will be my legacy, someone who always gives. And so
That's
that
awesome.
the 17th was a good kind of beautiful middle of the month experience. And the way that we're also living this legacy is our next event, which is we give money, because that's
Yes, we
really
do.
that's the way in which we are living this work. We're giving giving back, Black being first, very intentionally, because it is important that we support our community, that everyone supports our community, not just Black individuals, but everyone, because we know that such a small percentage goes to the Black community, though there are so many contributions we make to the world, but we're not often seen as contributors. We're often seen as recipients. And so what we do is make sure that we give to those organizations who not only are giving to their community, but also are what I call community philanthropists. They also are doing the great work of moving us out of the conditions that historically and systemically we've been put into. So Lisa, you want to talk a little bit about the highlights on the 24th?
Yeah, so on the 24th, you got a chance to meet one of our board members, my husband, and myself kind of lead that conversation. But we were able to talk to 4 dynamic leaders in the community. And if you don't know anything about them, you should definitely check out that video and find out. Again, blackgivingback.com, or any of our social media pieces particular. So we had Black Lemonade, who was able to kind of give us a conversation, and they basically help cultivate the minds of the community through education and empowerment. They want to make sure that all voices are heard and purposely executed. So Black Lemonade was able to be there from that standpoint. We also had Creative Girls Rock. And so really great programming around creativity. I believe that she's in 10 or 11 states. So check, if you're watching this, forward this to somebody in one of those other states and make sure they know about this program. I believe she's in 10 or 11 states, and you guys have just as a shout out, she has an event coming up September 23rd that you can participate in. So definitely take a look at that video and you can support this initiative. And this initiative extends globally to involve participants around the world in a platform of creative expression using the arts and artistic design. So this is an opportunity for young women to sort of see themselves in a very creative way. Society has created what they believe beauty and excellence to be, and she is changing. She's a disruptor in that area. So that's something that I think you should definitely check out. We also had the Nashville Freedom School. So it's a community and youth for underserved communities seeing themselves authentically. They read stories and they do a 6-week program. And then last but not least, we have the Community Clinic of Shelby and Bedford County, and they work with for medical, dental, and mental health in those areas in particular. So really great opportunity for, again, when you give to Give Black, Give Back, we always tell people whether or not, whatever, however you identify, the money will go to a Black-led organization. And that's important because the statistics are that Black-led organizations or Black-led nonprofits only get about 1% to 3% of funding that is available. So they don't get the same funding as their white counterparts in the nonprofit space. And so it's super important that when you give to Give Black, you understand that you are helping to bring equity to access to funds so they can continue the work that they're already doing. So every year we've been able to, since 2020, even in 2020, we were able to give funds to different organizations that are doing things and they're Black-led. And so as you support at blackgivingback.com to support the Give Black, Give Back Fund, you are making a contribution to these organizations that otherwise will get left behind by the majority community. So just so you kind of know from that standpoint as well. So those are the things that we've kind of done as in addition to this year, one of the rooms at the new facility is now named the Francis Guest Building Bridges room. So I think that's one of the things in particular we've done this year. We had all of our vendors were Black-led or Black owners, so that we were able to again, we put those funds back in. So if your organization, your company, your family are interested in truly making a difference in the community and working with an organization that is committed to finding excellence in everything, Black philanthropy or nonprofits are out there, we are definitely want to talk to you and be able to work with you and support you on that initiative. So yeah, that's kind of, I think that's a little bit of everything from that standpoint.
Yes,
How you feeling, Kia?
we had a great month. This was a great month. We like you said, we kicked off in 2019. The Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee brought together a variety of us philanthropists in the city, and as a first opportunity. And Lisa and I didn't know each other. But I always think, of course, this work is very spiritual. And so we were spiritually led to come together. And so this being the fourth of the Black Philanthropy Month we've been doing has been, I believe we've done a great amount of work. And a lot of the work is behind the scenes. And so, but this is why we bring this platform, the Give Black, Give Back conversations, why we bring it to life, to memorialize the effort, to memorialize the work. And so I'm really proud of our closing of the 4th year.
Yeah. So not only are we, committed to doing that, we're committed, to each other's initiatives and our successes as well, and how we evolve and develop in the philanthropy space. We've been given a great opportunity here. I think Kia and I both done a lot of work over the past 4 years, looking at Give Black, Give Back, and looking at, bringing this to Nashville specifically. Again, it's a global initiative that was started in 2011. So this is not just a Nashville thing. This is a global initiative, and I believe any city that calls themselves wanting to be in the forefront needs to be in the forefront in all spaces. So from a DEI standpoint, we are the organization to partner with to be able to make sure those dollars are coming to those places and that coming to the people that you need them. But as we grow, we have all these other opportunities. And so I want to give Kia the opportunity to share share more about how she's growing right now in this season. I am super excited about the opportunity. I've working with Kia, but I'm super excited about what she's about to share right now about how she's growing. And I'll let Kia sort of do her thing.
Well, I always have to take this moment to say, go to the website, blackgivingback.com. Want to make sure that we share that as much as possible so that you can give there. You can also sign up to volunteer, and Audra Cox in the office at Community Foundation will support you. With that being said, this is the end of Black Philanthropy Month, and this is also my end as co-chair of Give Black, Give Back. I will remain co-founder. Do not erase me from the history books. So Lisa and I remain in the in the record in that way. It is as we think about Black love in action, what is really important to me is self-care and integrity and respect and love of self and love of community. And to do that, I must step away. As I was sharing with my colleagues and co-conspirators here, some of us are there to begin, middle, or end a project, or some of us can do all of it. And while I love the idea of doing it all, it is important for me to do what I came to do and then step away. So I came what the ancestors required me to do. And that does not mean I'm not going to still be talking about Black philanthropy. That does not mean I'm not going to still be talking about philanthropy. I have several, engagements coming up where I'll still be yelling from the mountaintops, being the disruptor, taking up the space, doing what I know to do, and still championing for people to contribute to Give Black, Give Back, as well as the many other funds and nonprofits that we support. That work shall not ever go in vain because it is important to me. The three-part mission that we've developed and designed and lived out together, I will continue to do that. Since we started this, I've always operated kind of in the background with another initiative called the Black Philanthropy Initiative of Middle Tennessee, and I will continue to ride that out. And maybe one day I will partner back with Give Black, Give Back on some really great things that I've heard people are interested in doing. So I'm excited about that. And, I always say I'm the ellipses to the conversation. Just stay tuned.
Well, I personally appreciate your zeal, your dedication, your influence, your impact, all the great things that you are and continuing to grow to be as you evolve. So I'm super excited. And we were sharing offline. It was like, sometimes you need somebody to do a little off-roading and you can find out what else is out there. So you're going to see some different things from Give Black, Give Back as well in the next year for us, because this sort of ends our fiscal year, if you will. So we've got some things coming from you in a different way. So we're going to shake some things up as well. So we're going to be coming to corporations. So invite us, let us know. We're going to be asking some hard questions and getting out there in the public as well. But I want to thank Kia for everything. I am super excited. I'm super excited about what the next is. We share our love for travel. And I think one of the first times I met you, I don't know if you remember this or not, I think you were headed to Egypt. Was that the Egypt trip? Okay.
Yes.
And I was telling you, was that
Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and Egypt?
Dubai. Okay. Yeah. And I was like, I had just come back from Tanzania and Ethiopia. And I was telling you before you went, I was like, I cannot wait to meet you when you come back. Yeah. I am so excited about meeting you out in the next place. So I'm super excited. I'm super blessed to have the opportunity to work with you. And Audra Cox and everyone at Community Foundation. You have been a blessing. You will be a blessing in the moving forward. And I'm super excited. I think it's a great move for you. I think it's the right time for you to do what is best for you. And I always will champion that. And so know that is sincere. And so we're gonna be out there trailing you. We'll be seeing what you got going.
Hey, we're headed to South Africa very soon. So, I'm excited.
Oh, I didn't think I knew that. When are you going to South Africa?
Yes. So, more and more opportunities to spread this message of what's over here. But I would be remiss if I didn't thank you, Lisa, if I didn't thank Audra Cox, if I didn't thank Kelly, because when we came to Kelly and said, hey, we need to take over the Facebook page every other month. She's okay. That's important. And I always have to thank Morgan. Morgan, as you all may not know this, but she takes all of our photos. We have a whole photo shoot or photo album of photos. She does all of our videos. And she's absolutely excellent because she stands in the background, but does such impactful work with us and for us. And so folks who are willing to capture this message and take what we do and allow us the space to disrupt, I am grateful for that. It's not the end. It is the beginning. And I'm excited about the next journey. I'm excited about what the advisory committee will do. I'm excited about what Give Black, Give Back will do. I'm excited to watch it as an outsider and see the work. And, from time to time during Black Philanthropy Month, invite me back in the co-foundership. I'm happy to come back and support in that way as much as possible.
Love you. Love in action. Love you very much.
Love you too.
Do you have any final words? We're going to just say, I don't even know if I'll probably see. Well, we're going to talk about South Africa, but go ahead.
Well, my ending message is always the same. Don't forget to give Black.